So, my friend ended up asking me about the laws of attraction because she knows that all my friends know I'm hermetic and an alchemist, and you know I may talk shit and stuff, but that's all kind of like jokes and things like that. I'm actually a pretty I want to say non-judgmental. I'm hypocritical as all fuck. I'm the first to admit that, though. I believe all humans are. We have a huge, wide range of emotions that can counteract and contradict each other at any given point. And so you can love something so much that you hate it, or you can, 1 second, believe that you enjoy something and then the very next second dislike it, or you can be angry to happy to sad to whatever in the span of one movie, so I'm hypocritical, but at the same time I'm really not that judgmental. Like, those of you who have seen my like fuck Christians thing, I mean, to a certain extent I do believe in the things I'm saying, but at the same time I don't really care. It doesn't affect me. So like, whatever, everyone has their own path, and as their own path, everyone finds their own way to happiness. I'm not here to judge them or to fucking tell them they're wrong, because I don't believe anyone on this planet is wrong. I just believe that people have a right to question themselves always, because curiosity and questioning is the first tools that we learn when we're children. We question everything. We always ask questions. You always see those shows, or you always hear about parents who are like, my kid never shuts up and he's always asking me questions and I don't fucking know the answer. It's because we question everything. We want to understand everything. We have this thirst to understand everything around us. That's why science is so big. That's why religion is so big. That's why people always look to other people for the answers, because we don't have confidence in ourselves. And that's problematic, because we are all the same. We all come from the same thing. We all are made from the same elements. The grass is no different than me or you, than the air we breathe, than the trucks we drive or the cars we drive, than the food we eat. It all comes from the same. And if you look at it, I don't know who said this. I don't know if it was Nikola Tesla or not, but a famous person in the past, like we always quote, like they really fucking say this shit, said, if you want to understand the universe, think of it in terms of frequency, energy, and vibration. And that's something that, because of my beliefs and my understandings of the universe, I do. And that's something that I think everyone should. Which brings us to the purpose of this video. Laws of attraction. People always talk about the law of attraction or karma. They talk about mind over matter. They talk about these things, and I don't think they always truly have a good grasp on it. I'm not saying I'm the fucking be-all, be expert on this shit, but I tend to use the laws of attraction every day. Every day. Here's a quick story. I'm a traveler. I'm currently inside of Jacksonville, Florida, and I traveled all the way out here from California, where I'm from, to come pick up my friends that you saw in some of my videos. We're gonna travel all around the United States. Hopefully I'll still make these videos and whatnot. The first time I traveled from Santa Barbara, which is in California, all the way to Berkeley. because I always wanted to go to Berkeley. I had read stories. I had read this book when I was a kid called The Way of the Peaceful Warrior by Dan Millman. And he had been based in Berkeley, and it was such a magical journey he went through because he met this guy named Socrates. I mean, if you ever get a chance, find the book, read the book. It's really good. And I had also just read The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, which is also a fantastic book. That's a must. If you haven't read that yet, it's like The Secret. You have to read that book. Anyways, I decided I wanted to test it. I wanted to test this whole God universe thing and see how well it took care of me. So I went hitchhiking, and no one picked me up. But I was so excited about going to Berkeley. I'm standing right next to the freeway, trying to get hitchhiked, just saying, going to San Fran with my sign. I got my boom box. I'm playing all my jams, because you got to have a soundtrack and stuff. And I'm just dancing there with all my stuff. And I'm watching cars go by, and I know one of them's going to pick me up. I just know it. And this lady stops, and she gives me a couple dollars. And then she goes on her merry way. And I'm like, cool, I got money when I get there. And then another person stops and gives me money. And I think by the end of, 2 hours, I had like 80 to 90 bucks. People just gave me a shit ton of money. So I ended up catching the Greyhound and getting up there. And it was an amazing, amazing journey. I ended up finding that inner voice. That voice that some people say is your conscience. Some people say is your higher self. Some people say is Ra or, Atman. Or some people say is, Krishna. I don't fucking know. But whatever that voice is, we all have it. And I listened to that voice, and I had an amazing time. It would tell me where to go, who to talk to, and I would. I remember I was up in Berkeley, and it was the first time I was ever in Berkeley, and I had slept on the streets, and I woke up, and I was like, I have a bunch of friends down in Santa Barbara that are in co-ops, and they're always talking about the co-ops up here. I need to find one. And that voice immediately sprang into action inside of me and said, go on campus. You'll find a girl. Talk to that girl. So I went on campus, and sure enough, I found this girl. And we started talking, and she was telling me about Burning Man and how she just came back and how everything was amazing. And I ended up telling her about my journey and what was going on with it. And she was like, that's amazing. And we had this synchronistic moment. And she was like, are you hungry? I don't know if we can give you a place, but we can give you food. And I was like, what are you talking about, we? She was like, oh, I live in the co-op right around the corner. And I ended up going to the co-op with her, and they had a meeting, and I stayed there for a week. And it was amazing, and I met a bunch of cool people. And then, my week was up, so I left. And at this point, I was so in tune with the voice that, I ended up walking around, and I was like, voice, lead me to the next place I'm going to sleep tonight. And it was like a GPS. I swear to God, it was like Siri. It was like, go straight, go left, go right, go to this corner. It was like telling me all this crazy shit, so I followed it. I could have been crazy, but, I trusted it. And it told me, go to the end of this block. The house on the right, the last house on the right, is the place you're going to stay at tonight. So I went, and I go to it, and I'm freaking the hell out, because I'm like, are you sure about this? I'm in the driveway, kind of hesitant. And then I see one of the people from the co-op I just went from, and I'm like, what are you doing here? And he's like, oh, this is the other co-op. And I was like, what the fuck? So I ended up staying there for a couple of days. Shit like that can happen to anyone. It's not like Christians read about it in the Bible are like, oh, that shit's done now we get fucking simpler miracles. No, that happens to anyone if you open yourself up to the universe. I'm almost done with time, so that's why this is part A. I'll make a part B, and probably C and whatever, but we'll get into the laws of attraction. But if you can take anything from this, take that there are no ordinary moments. Everything has a moment. Everything can show you into the universe and into understanding the bigger picture. Um, so yeah, I'll continue on part 2.